welcome to the Vanarama National League highlight show. It was a thrilling final day of the season in England's 5th tier, with plenty still on the line at both ends of the table. We'll bring you all the highs and lows over the next half an hour. We begin with the battle to beat the drop, where Barrow held the advantage after surviving a midweek onslaught from playoff-chasing Bromley to escape with a goalless draw. That point, coupled with their superior goal difference, meant the Bluebirds had their destiny in their own hands heading into the final day. Yet with just one win at home since October, A.D. Pennock's team still had a lot to do, even against already relegated Chester. Woking with the other side still in with a shot at survival after picking up their first win in 13 games at Guiseley last weekend. The Cards, though, faced an even stiffer challenge as they welcomed a Dover side desperate for 3 points of their own if they were to have any hope of squeezing back into the playoffs.
Anthony takes the corner, it's into a good area too, and it's been deflected. And it's just not gone in for them. Goodness me, what a let-off that was.
You look at him now, look at his feet movement very, very quickly, and he just spreads himself with that right arm. Now, did that go over the line?
The nerves were just as fraught 300 miles away in Cumbria, but Chester didn't read the script, and 20 minutes in, they were 1-0 up. Jordan Archer with a Route 1 goal, the worst possible start for Barrow, but they would soon get a helping hand.
In goes the header, and it's there. It's Galifuoko forward from the back. His 5th goal of the season, not bad for a defender. And Dover from the set piece said they were dangerous in those sort of situations, and so it's proved.
And when you fight for your lives, don't concede from a set play. But for Dover, brilliant, brilliant for them.
Grego Cox trying to get there, he did get there, and Carter scores! Charlie Carter for the Cards. Their top scorer has done the business just when it really, really mattered. It gives them hope.
That's why Grego Cox has started today. Brilliant touch there from him. Then he just sets himself for that volley into the back of the net. Big goal for Woking.
Set piece taken quickly. In goes the cross. Oh, how has that stayed out? So unlucky.
Great header, connects with it brilliantly. Unfortunately for him, just couldn't quite get it on the underside of the crossbar.
With Woking piling on the pressure, Barrow needed a second-half response, and they finally produced one with almost an hour gone. Jordan White striking home his 7th goal of the season to bring the Bluebirds level, but they still knew a goal in Surrey would change everything.
Corner kick, and Staunton was there, and it's just wide. Well, as Dean Saunders said at half-time, they haven't had lady luck on their side so far today.
Well, they haven't, and again, this is another chance and another opportunity to really play on Dover's frailty from set plays.
Barrow were looking to take matters back into their own hands as they chased just their 5th home win of the season, but Lewis Walters couldn't beat the fingertips of Steve Arnold. And 5 minutes later, their survival in the National League was left hanging by a thread as Chester scored a second. 18-year-old Tom Crawford making a name for himself and giving the home fans a nervous last 15 minutes of the season.
Is there to be drama in the final minute or so here? Marsh Brown scores! Dover in front in added time. The substitute Marsh Brown gets what surely is the winning goal, and the goal that ultimately consigns Woking to relegation. They know their race is run now, the Cards. Dover, even in the final seconds of the season now, still have hope of the playoffs.
Chris Kinnear's side needed a bit of magic. This man has certainly produced it. Decent finish from him.
We said all along this week it was about us winning the game of football. We knew if we won the game, then we'd have a chance. You know, Barrow have got a terrible home record, so we knew we had a chance. But you know, unfortunately, we just come up short again today, and you know, the story of our season. You know, we haven't won enough games, and we've been relegated.
It was a tough game today. Obviously, I think a little bit rabbit in headlights, I'd say, especially first half. But give them credit, they've got some great youngsters. But obviously the team down in Kent has done me a favour, so I'm very proud.
With Dover nervous in Surrey, their top 7 hopes were in part dependent on events 200 miles away in North Wales. Wrexham's playoff aspirations had all but disappeared after Dean Keats's exit led to a drastic loss of form. But the Dragons could still dash the dreams of visitors AFC Fylde. Their promotion charge has largely been driven by National League Player of the Season Danny Rowe, with the star striker be able to help secure the point needed to extend their campaign. 3 minutes in at the racecourse, Akil Wright set up Scott Quigley, who eventually shot wide, even though it looked as though the ball had gone in. After the break, Paul Rutherford was denied for Wrexham by the post, and Scott Bowden failed with the follow-up. Rutherford was then brought down in the Fylde half by Luke Burke. A second yellow from referee Alan Young meant the away team were down to 10. Late in the match, Wrexham were denied a penalty following what looked to be a handball by Simon Grand. Goalless it ended, and enough for Fylde, who were only promoted last season, to make the playoffs.
We'll enjoy tonight and then put a plan in place to go to Boreham Wood on Thursday and work out a travelling week ahead of us, if you like. But we've got to go and win, again, 2 more away games now to potentially get to a Wembley final, so 3 away games to get out of the division, and at the start of the season, if we'd been offered that, we'd absolutely have taken it.
When you look back at the season, you know, we broke records in terms of clean sheets and unbeaten run. But yeah, you're right in terms of not killing teams off or having that sort of killer instinct in front of goal has cost us in the end, and we know that.
So it wasn't to be for Dover this year, as they missed out on the top 7 on goal difference. Manager Chris Kinnear couldn't hide his sadness, but wasn't too disheartened.
Very, very, very disappointed. Yeah, but it's like anything, isn't it? You can look back, but at the end of the day, you are where you are. So we didn't play very well today, but that can't be taken away from Woking, really. They really gave it the best shot they could. Personally, all the players in there have been absolutely brilliant this season. And what could have been is could have been, not making it on goal difference.
Nothing was nailed on at Boreham Wood either, as they welcomed relegated Guiseley to Meadow Park, hoping to cling on to the playoff place they'd worked tirelessly for all season. The Lions had held them to a goalless draw last time around and came in on the back of their first win in 6, but the hosts started with intent. Bruno Andrade putting them ahead inside the opening 3 minutes with his 20th goal of the campaign. Minutes later, Andrade was involved in the second, assisting Morgan Ferrier to put the Wood 2 goals clear and dreaming of an end-of-season showdown. Guiseley registered just 1 shot on target, but it resulted in a goal to put them back in the game before the break. Dale Southwell with his 3rd in as many games. Luke Garrard's team had more to do to make the result safe. Kane Smith was the man to round things off, securing the win that sees Boreham Wood finish in their highest position in the club's 70-year history.
We got there, made it hard work, I've got to be honest. I think we could have potentially been a couple of places above, but I'll take 4th in the league. I think that represents a great season in what we've achieved as a football club, what the dressing room has achieved. And now we put that to bed, and our focus fully goes to AFC Fylde on Thursday.
Another surprise story this season's been the rise of EBBSFLEET United, who a year ago were National League South runners-up. A spectacular 5-2 Tuesday night rout of Gateshead continued their remarkable end to the campaign and left Darryl McMahon's side needing only a point to book their spot in the playoffs as they travelled to relegated Torquay United. The hosts had been riding their luck in the 5th tier, coming 17th last season, 18th the year before. Elliot Roman was denied by Nathan Ashmore in the first half. Into the second, with 20 minutes to go, Fleet attacked the hosts through Jack Connors, and what was surely a cross went in, 1-0. Only a couple of minutes later, Kenny Clark clattered into Brett Williams, penalty to Torquay. On loan from Cardiff City, Rhys Healey beat Ashmore. 1-1 it ended, enough for EBBSFLEET to extend their season and go for a place in the EFL.
I thought the players were excellent today. You know, I thought it was a solid performance. I thought we, for long periods, we were the better team, and you know, if we had edged it, I don't think anyone could have complained.
There was a battle for third place in South London between Sutton and Aldershot, but before kick-off, the home fans paid tribute to former manager Barry Williams, who passed away earlier in the week. He masterminded the U's famous FA Cup victory over Coventry in 1989. Now Paul Doswell is making more history with the club. Aldershot, though, had the best chance of the first half. Scott Rendell's effort cleared off the line by captain Jamie Collins. But it was Sutton who took the first step towards a home semi-final. Top scorer Tommy Wright rewarded this week with a call-up to the England C team with the opener. The Shots were given a chance to pull level when Shamir Fenelon was brought down in the box. Penalty to Aldershot. Rendell this time found the back of the net for his 12th goal of the season. But the win wasn't to be for Gary Waddock on his 100th game back in charge, as former player Ross Lafayette pounced on an error by keeper Lewis Ward. Sutton secure third and Aldershot finished fifth for the second straight year.
I'm very proud of the team, very proud of the staff and the whole club really. For a club of our size to finish third in this division is an incredible achievement.
I think when it got to 1-1, you could see the team on the front foot looking for that winning goal, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. We lost the game 2-1, but the actual performance itself was decent.
A difficult first ever non-league campaign for Hartlepool United was to finish at Tranmere Rovers, who had already secured a home semi-final in the playoffs. Former England under-21 keeper Scott Loach has been consistent for Pools this season. From close range in the first half, he was able to deny James Norwood. At the other end, in added time, Liam Donnelly was brought down in the Rovers area by Andy Cook. Penalty to Hartlepool. The spot kick was taken and scored by Donnelly, a current under-21 international with Northern Ireland. Tranmere were defeated by Forest Green in last year's playoff final. After the break, Cook fired narrowly wide. Into the last quarter of an hour at Prenton Park, Rovers failed to clear in their area, allowing Rhys Oates to make it 2-0 with a scruffy back heel. He ends the campaign on 7 goals. 2 minutes later, Loach was finally beaten. A Jeff Hughes free kick means Rovers have scored in their last 26 matches. Mickey Mellon's men could have avoided defeat at home as James Norwood fired over. Hartlepool end a generally awful season with victory.
Last Saturday, Macclesfield Town celebrated in style after a 2-0 win at Eastleigh, secured the National League title and earned them a return to the Football League after a 6-year absence. This weekend, the Silkmen were given a deserved guard of honour by visitors Dagenham as they got the chance to savour their fantastic achievement in front of their own fans. John Still's side had the chance to spoil the party and deny the champions one last win. That was until Scott Wilson entered the fray and produced the first goal with just 11 minutes to go. Seconds later, Wilson was seeing double. The top scorer tapping in a cross from Tyrone Marsh to condemn the Daggers to their lowest finish in over a decade. Macclesfield legend John Askey sent more than 4,000 supporters wild as he lifted the National League trophy. His side, unfancied at the start of the season, finishing 10 points clear at the top.
Bromley went into an away clash at mid-table Maidenhead United, one place outside of the playoffs, 2 points away from being a part of monumental May. 3 minutes in at York Road, strength, patience and skill from Nana Owusu created an opening for Sam Barrett, who gave the hosts an early lead. Moments later, from a corner that David Gregory was unable to hold on to, Maidenhead made it 2-0 through Christian Smith, who ran last weekend's London Marathon. Bromley protests about the goal were emphatically waved away by the referee, Adam Bromley. With no favouritism being shown to the visitors, they had to act. From his own long throw-in, George Porter struck, scoring a 6th of the season for Neil Smith's team. Still in the first half, Maidenhead were to restore their 2-goal advantage. Owusu's effort is the first time he's found the net as a senior player. Alan Devonshire's side were National League South champions around this time last year. Their confidence continued after the interval, with Barrett scoring a second, making it 4-1. Past the hour mark in Berkshire, Barrett turned provider, setting up Sean Marks. Despite a deflection en route to goal, he was more than happy to lap up the home fans' applause. Devonshire's men were devastating, but the final word went to the FA Trophy finalists. Omar Bagil ends the campaign on 4 goals as Bromley miss out on the playoffs. Mid-table for Maidenhead is a fine first season in the National League.
Up in the northeast, the Heed were hoping to halt their slide down the table after 3 successive defeats. Already 16 points adrift of their tally from last season, they knew a win over Leyton Orient would at least see them leapfrog the O's into 13th. The visitors had also lost their penultimate game, but they took the lead inside 20 minutes, Macaulay Bonne nodding home Joby McAnuff's corner. Already with an assist, McAnuff got himself on the score sheet in the second half, his stunning strike giving Justin Edinburgh's side clear control. The game was put beyond doubt on the hour mark when Josh Karoma scored his 3rd goal this month from the edge of the box. Gateshead had conceded 12 goals in 4 games at this point, but were awarded a penalty when Abu Adams brought down Reece Greenwood. Danny Johnson's consolation just before the final whistle did nothing to prevent them finishing in the bottom half of the table for the first time in 5 seasons.
We've had a really bad end of the season, mentally really weak on the pitch, with the goals that are going in, with the ability to do the jobs properly, offset players and take on board messages that were given and take on board information, and the same mistakes are occurring time after time. So ultimately today we were found out for that very reason.
Having been in the relegation zone for a large part of the season, Solihull Moors completed their great escape on Tuesday, winning 2-1 against second in the table Tranmere and making it an impressive 10 games unbeaten. With National League football confirmed for another year, Mark Yates's men were at home to an Eastleigh side that had lost 4 in a row. With just over half an hour played in the Midlands, the visitors went in front as Sheridan Martinez was beaten by Sam Matthews. Eastleigh have Matthews on loan from the Premier League, and after the interval, the Bournemouth attacker made it 2-0, scoring his 2nd. Only a couple of minutes later, Andy Hessenthaler's team continued to attack. A cheeky Paul McCallum backheel was blocked, but Matthews was lurking to wrap up the match ball 3-0. With Eastleigh determined to improve on last season's 15th placed finish, Matthews turned provider, setting up McCallum, who ends the campaign on 8 goals. Into the final quarter of an hour, Moors looked to the dangerous Adi Youssef. After getting into the visitors' box, he beat Mark Childs to score the goal of the game. Easy scoring Eastleigh end the season 14th, but chairman Stuart Donald wants to sell because of his involvement in the purchase of Sunderland.
It's time to work now. I've got my mind on 25th of June already, and my wife won't like me to hear that, but that's the case. You know, we don't switch off, and work's got to be done now. This is where it all starts, and we've got to get it right for next season.
A shocking mid-season run of 17 league games without a win could have called time on Maidstone's stay in the 5th tier, but they welcomed Halifax to the Gallagher Stadium, safe in the knowledge that they would be back in August. The final game was one to forget for both sides, though, the best chance coming 4 minutes from the end when Josh Howe was adjudged to have brought down Matty Casilo. Michael Fondop-Talon with the opportunity to snatch 3 points, keeper Lee Morgan making sure it finished honours even. So, after a long, hard season, we say goodbye to Woking as they're relegated from the National League, along with Torquay, Chester and Guiseley, whilst Barrow survived by the skin of their teeth. More will be expected next season from sleeping giants Hartlepool and Leyton Orient. At the top, Macclesfield ended up 10 points clear, but the playoff race was much tighter, with just goal difference keeping Fylde in and Dover out. Tranmere and Sutton claim the coveted 2nd and 3rd spots, with Boreham Wood, Aldershot and EBBSFLEET rounding out the playoff picture.
The stage was set for a dramatic end to the National League South title race as only goal difference separated Dartford and leaders Havant and Waterlooville. On the final day, Dartford were at bottom side Bognor Regis Town, but Havant, who thrashed East Thurrock 6-1 in midweek, knew that they were in control of the championship, playing at home to Concord Rangers. 9 minutes in at Westley Park, a tap-in for midfielder Theo Lewis made it 1-0. Shortly after, promotion was very much on, thanks to an EFL and non-league veteran, and Matt Tubbs tap-in, making it 2-0 to Havant. At Nywood Lane, meanwhile, a frustrating first half for Dartford was heading to a goalless conclusion. There was then a tiny bit of hope for Dartford as a mistake from Havant keeper Ryan Young gifted a goal to Concord's speedy Andy Freeman. And on the hour mark, the Darts finally got their own breakthrough, Danny Mills giving them a 1-0 lead.
Oh God, it's so possible! Concord need to score, or Dartford need 2 more. We're nearly there.
Fans of Dartford were to swiftly get one of those 2 goals from the edge of the area, Ronnie Vint. And with 11 minutes remaining at Westley Park, Havant's dream became a nightmare. Concord bagging an equaliser through Stephen Corley.
Dartford can win the league! Oh, absolutely! To play for! Unbelievable!
Promotion wasn't secured just yet, though. In the final 10 minutes, Bognor were awarded a penalty. Ollie Pearce stepped up, making it 2-1 now, still in favour of Dartford. With the 90 minutes almost up at Havant, the home team needed a hero. Former Dartford player Jason Pryor was able to oblige, not only restoring Havant and Waterlooville's lead against Concord, but securing top-flight non-league football with promotion to the 5th tier. Lee Bradbury is a dab hand at this whole going-up business.
2 promotions in a row. What price a third?
Well, I don't know. No one would have thought we'd have won the league this time last year, but we've done it again. We've got a brilliant group of lads. It's so close. Really great and so proud of them.
Lee, I'll let you enjoy it. Well done, Lee.
So it's Havant and Waterlooville who will be joining us in the National League next season, whilst dejected Dartford will have to try their luck in the playoffs. Chelmsford, Hampton and Richmond, Hemel Hempstead, Braintree and Truro can also keep dreaming of promotion. In the north, champion Salford signed off in style with a 4-0 win over Leamington, but there was even more joy for Bradford Park Avenue, who clinched a playoff berth thanks to a 94th minute winner at Kidderminster. Harrogate, Brackley, Kiddie, Stockport and Chorley complete the top 7. The road to Wembley and the National League playoff final begins on Wednesday with the elimination round as Aldershot take on EBBSFLEET. Coverage begins at 6:45 on BT Sport 2, and it's the same time and channel on Thursday evening for Boreham Wood's showdown with AFC Fylde. Then at the weekend, it's semi-final time. Tranmere await the winners of Aldershot and EBBSFLEET. That's from midday on Saturday on BT Sport 2. And on Sunday, Sutton host either Boreham Wood or Fylde. That one's at 2:30 again on BT Sport 2. We'll leave you with our team of the season, which can only be Macclesfield Town. The Silkmen overcame their modest budget to upset the odds and claimed the National League crown. John Askey's men return to the Football League after 6 years away, but who will join them? Stay tuned to BT Sport to find out. We'll see you next time.